Happy Thursday, North Central Washington. The 10th day of May, 2018 is upon us. Grab a cup of coffee, make up your pancakes and your sausages and your French toast and your waffles and your omelets and your eggs Benedict.
Hey.
That sounds good.
My stomach's growling.
All of a sudden I got hungry. And sit down, have a little breakfast, a little cup of coffee, and let's get our day going, shall we, on this 10th day of May, 2018. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. Steve Harrer, our news director, to my immediate left. Cat in control, Arch Ecker, in the green room for his 39th appearance on this program.
Representing the champion, Wenatchee Wild.
Yes, they have 2 cups down, 1 cup to go. They're heading off tomorrow to beautiful Chilliwack, British Columbia, to see if they can take home the biggest of the biggin, the RBC Cup. We'll preview the RBC Cup. Also talk about that nice little 5-game victory over the Spruce Kings up there in beautiful Alberta. We'll talk about that nice little 5-game victory when they took home the Doyle Cup. So they got the Fred Page Cup, they got the Doyle Cup, RBC Cup is in their sights. It's the championship of the championship of the championship, the last 5 teams standing, and they'll start doing battle on Saturday, and Arch will preview that. It'll be a lot of fun. Got your weather forecast. Steve, of course, will handle your news. We got sports. There's some sports to get to. Mariners blew it yesterday, had a nice little lead. Looked like they were going to slide by with a nice little victory up in Toronto, and then the bullpen kind of let them down a little bit.
Well, the offense kind of let them down, too.
Yeah, well, it doesn't help you. Yeah.
Score all your runs in the 3rd inning, so.
Sports, yeah.
That's
Obscure
how it
holiday, birthdays, today in history. It's Thursday, Pet of the Week. Megan McPherson will talk, we'll be visiting with our friends at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, see if we can get Dante the cat home. That comes up as well, plus everyone is entitled to
an animal named Dante?
Yeah, that's not.
I don't know.
That's a strange. The first cat I ever got.
Hope it doesn't have anything to do with its personality.
Yeah, no. The first cat I ever got, my sister BJ, when she was going to Gonzaga University, had a litter, and she brought them all back to the house. It was a holiday. I think it was Apple Blossom, actually. She came back for Apple Blossom with a box full of kittens. And they had, I think there were 7 in the litter, 6 snow white female cats and 1 black and white male cat. And I took the black and white male cat.
Sure.
His name was Buddy. I named him after Buddy Holly. Then the next cat I got was a calico. I love that cat. I named him Otis, after Otis Redding. And then I thought to myself, okay, the first 2 cats I have adopted in my life, I named after rock and roll legends who died in plane crashes. And I decided I better stop doing that. And the next cat I got was named Dusty, and I named her after Dusty Springfield, one of my favorite singers. And I had her for almost 20 years. She was a great cat.
So what did you name the Big Bopper?
Oh, jeez. You ready to go around the valley?
I think so.
Let's go around the valley. Let's see what Mother Nature has in store for us. What do we got today? Hello, Wenatchee.
Folks up there on Birch Mountain are probably pulling the shades down a little bit now, aren't they?
Yeah,
the sunshine streaming in through the window.
River is high, river is cold. Confluence Park down there, the state park where the Wenatchee meets the Columbia River. A little high there, I noticed.
A little high water there.
It's to be, it happens.
Nothing like 1948, of course.
Yeah. Or even just a few years ago when I was at KPQ, we had, it went right up to the towers at the KPQ ranch there.
I remember that.
We had to row a boat out to our transmitters.
1948.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about just a few years ago, about 10 years ago. It got really high. We had that long, cold, snowy winter, and then we had a really hot and very quickly passing spring, and it got right up to the very bottom of the transmitters. It was kind of hairy.
And if you want to get something that looks similar to that, I think Okanagan County right now, that will report here in a few minutes.
Good. Hang in there, Okanagan County. We're thinking of you. All right, camera 2, what do we got? Kat says, let's go take a look at Turtle Rock.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, isn't that just gorgeous? Wenatchee Valley is in the far area. You can see the snow is really beginning to receding off Mission Ridge. I have a commanding view of the Mission Ridge Basin and the Mission Ridge Ski Resort from my front porch of my house, and every day you can see there's less and less snow. However, at this time last year, there was no snow. There was no snow at Mission Ridge on May 10th of last year, and they still got some snow up there this year. Turtle Rock, looking good. Thanks for joining us.
From our Arundel Rock.
That's the Arundel Rock camera. Yep, zipped around and pointed back down the river. Camera 3, Kat says, let's see what's happening.
Oh, look at this, folks.
Okay, now we got to think about this for just a minute, Steve. Think about, okay, I'm seeing a highway, I'm seeing, all right, Kat, I give up.
It's Enya is on your left there.
Oh, Enya, so this is, if that's Enya on our left, Steve, that camera would be
Green's
Hose
not?
Landing?
No.
Is that Hose Landing? It's Hose Landing. There you go, Hose Landing. So lovely, well, now I see. See, look, I didn't see the Aniette Dome.
Okay,
The
now,
Aniette Dome.
and you can look down, I believe that's Daroga, isn't it, on the far side?
Yeah, I believe you're right.
I think so.
See.
That's Daroga Park because I can see the power lines extending down over the river. There at Earthquake Point.
Yeah, and you can see the climb on the right. You can see where US 97 climbs up and then starts heading off towards Desert
And
Canyon.
the far
and
right then up the hillside would be Desert Canyon.
Yeah, you can't see Desert
Yeah.
Canyon, but you can see the McNeil Canyon cutoff, I believe,
Yeah.
or pretty close to it. I don't know. It was a
What do you do
beautiful
when you
idea.
get to the McNeil cutoff?
Camera 4 will take us to...
Cut off your McNeil.
that, I want to say, is Badger, pointed up the river.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Union
Oh, that's Union
Lake
Valley. Yeah, gee,
Chelan.
boy, I went 0 for 4 today.
Is that the Butte?
That's the view. You can
Yep.
see the elephant
Yeah.
head there.
All right.
So that's Union Valley. It's pulled way back. It kind of threw me for a loop. So Chelan's on the left. The Butte is in the middle of your screen. Lake Chelan there. You can see the various developments on Lake Chelan. Beautiful up there today.
Yeah.
So that's really pulled back. That's why I couldn't figure out what we were looking at. So
That's beautiful shots, though. I mean, great with the sun. Yeah.
good
Looking like it's
stuff.
going to be a beautiful weekend, too.
Oh,
huh?
Mother's Day is going to be just wonderful. We're going to have some unsettled weather for a couple of days. There's a little system coming through. Let's throw the forecast up. It's an upper level trough, Steve. It's not packing a big punch, but it's kind of slow. It's kind of meandering its way through the Pacific Northwest. Not packing a big punch. It's just kind of sort of there. It's going to push across the day today and into Friday. So we're going to have some scattered showers tonight, a little breezy at times. Is what we're looking at today. Considerably cooler. We had 72 yesterday. 67 is all we're going to get to today. Again, breezy winds northwest, 8 to 13 miles an hour. It's going to pick up a little bit at times. Gusts near 30. And just a slight chance of some showers. Late afternoon pop up here and there, and that's really about it. That upper level trough will slowly begin to move on out of here today. Still going to be windy tonight. Northwest wind 13 to 22 miles an hour. Slight chance of some super light rain. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of about 51. The transition day is Friday. Partly sunny, winds begin to diminish, high of 75, and a gorgeous weekend is in store. Saturday, sunshine and a high of 82. High pressure begins to build up on Saturday. It gets stronger on Mother's Day Sunday with a high of 86, Monday 87, Tuesday 86, Wednesday 85. High pressure is looking pretty good. It looks like it's going
Yes,
to
sir.
really establish itself.
Yeah, we might be pushing 90 on Monday.
We might be pushing 90 on Monday. So that is your forecast. No complaints. We got to get through today and partially on Friday, but Saturday and Sunday, perfect.
Warmer temperatures also going to mean a faster melt down of our snowpack, so you can watch for rising streams, I would imagine, too.
Yeah, they'll keep a close eye, especially to the north of us. We mentioned this a couple of days ago. We didn't have a particularly harsh winter down here in Wenatchee. It really wasn't much.
Oh, really mild.
But to the north of us, you go 50, 60, 70 miles to the north of us, they had quite a bit, much the Met-Hal Basin, the Republic area, Omak, Okanagan, all the way up to that area. They had a lot of snow.
They did.
Yeah,
A
we
lot
didn't.
of snow, plus the Canadian Rockies, of course, which is the source of our Columbia River waters, had a great amount of snow this year. So they're looking at significant runoff there.
I hope not, but we're keeping a close eye on it. In fact, that's one of the stories we'll be following when we come back. Steve Hare has your news in just about a minute. It's 9 minutes after the hour. We are at, let me real quick, go down. Here we go. A few clouds at 54 degrees. Again, a high of 67 today with a little bit of wind. 1 minute break. When we come back, Steve Hare with your news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Golfers, register now for Cascade Medical Foundation's 16th annual golf tournament on Monday, June 18th at the Leavenworth Golf Club. Your registration of $150 per person includes 18 holes of golf and cart, all activities and contests, and lunch and dinner. A raffle and live auction will be held. All proceeds will support the lab at Cascade Medical Center. There are limited spaces available. Get your tickets now by registering online or give us a call today.
It's time to celebrate your mom. Head on over to Wenatchee Valley Mall where you'll find a great gift for any type of mom.
I have a glamour mom. She loves the frills.
My mom's down to earth. She loves to chill.
My mom likes to relax all day.
My mom could buck a bale of hay.
Pick up a gift certificate from your favorite mall retailer and let mom have a shopping day for herself. Check out the special events tab at WenatcheeValleyMall.com. Find it all at Wenatchee Valley Mall.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
And on this 10th day of May, good morning. Here are some of the stories we're following for you here on this beautiful Wednesday, or Thursday morning, I should say. Well, the melt is happening right now, big time up in the mountains, folks, as the snowpack starts to deplete. That's going to mean some higher rivers and streams. In fact, there's some issues accompanying that. Chelan County Emergency Management right now is hosting a public meeting Monday to address the current situation at 8 Mile Lake Dam. Now, the dam, located in the Alpine Lakes Wilderness, it's operated by the Icicle-Pashastin Irrigation District, nearly 100 years old and in deteriorating condition, as you can see here from that picture provided to us by the district. Now, because the area was significantly burned in the Jack Creek wildfire back in 2017, 8 Mile Lake more vulnerable to erosion and flash flooding. Now, that could overwhelm the dam. In fact, a breach of the dam could cause a significant wave of water to flow down 8 Mile Creek into Icicle Creek near 8 Mile Campground, and then quickly raise the level of Icicle Creek. Now, the situation is not imminent, according to officials, but there is an increasing level of concern about the dam, and emergency officials are asking residents within the affected area to be prepared to evacuate as conditions change. Meanwhile, Chelan County Emergency Management is working with the Icicle-Pashastin Irrigation District and the Department of Ecology and their Dam Safety Office to monitor conditions of the dam, while at the same time developing a plan to reduce the risk of dam failure. Now, emergency management officials are also working with the U.S. Forest Service, which owns the land at the dam site. In fact, Monday's informational meeting will be at the Fire District 3 headquarters on Chumstick. Okanagan County Emergency Management officials report flood conditions along the Okanagan River. Swollen River has inundated areas north of Tonasket and in the Ellisford areas. Emergency management officials have issued advisories for property owners in the area, and sandbags are also being made available. Now, this morning, the county also issued a flood warning for the Chewak River. Okanagan projected to reach just under 20 feet on Saturday morning. That level has not been reached since the 1970s. On the county's north end, the Similkameen River is projected to reach moderate flood stage by tomorrow. Well, 12th District Legislative House candidate Dr. Ann Diamond says she wants to be a voice of moderation in the legislature. The Methow physician is running as an independent candidate, and she describes herself as politically moderate. Her hope, she says, is to form an alliance with other like-minded moderates in a similar way that existed with the so-called Roadkill Caucus 10 years ago.
The Roadkill Caucus was a bunch of middle-of-the-roaders. They were moderates who were tired of being run over by the extremes of the party. And so they formed their own caucus, and with 5 to 10 people, they could swing the votes either way. And they held together for a couple of sessions and really made a difference. So as an independent, when there's 4850, I'm new to this, I'm a doc, but I see an opening for being able to have a strong voice if I can bring in a couple other moderate voices who want to find common ground.
The Diamond outlined her campaign platform in a recent NCW Life interview. You can watch it in its entirety on our website at ncwlife.com. Diamond and Republican Linda Harold are the two candidates who announced their intentions to file for the seat, being retired by Kerry Cantata. Meanwhile, Democrat Christopher Gaynor has announced he would run earlier, but now yesterday announced that he has decided to pull out of the race. This Friday, May 11th, Representative Dan Newhouse hosting a free opioid summit in Moses Lake. That's open to constituents in the 4th Congressional District. Summit will feature a panel of experts from the field and focus on efforts to combat the opioid crisis. The event is at the Moses Lake Civic Center from 10 a.m. to noon. It's free to all constituents in the 4th Congressional District. I'm sure it's open to everybody who wants to attend. If you're going, you'll be able to share your story and ask expert panel questions about local and national efforts, as well as learn more about the prescription drug take-back program and drop-off center locations. Illegal shoreline development in Leavenworth will cost the Seattle area couple $19,000. In addition to the civil penalty, the Department of Ecology has ordered Christopher and Janet Olson to obtain all necessary permits and restore the shoreline destroyed when they created land for future development. Now, the Olsons were cited for removing important vegetation, dredging material from an unnamed stream, installing a culvert, and placing fill dirt in the river channel during development on property they own and without permission on neighboring parcel. Naturally, functioning shorelines are threatened when property owners conduct land clearing, according to the DOE, dredging and filling activities on shorelines and in wetlands without proper planning and permits. As temperatures rise, summer creatures making their return to local trails in north central Washington. A couple of early rattlesnake sightings bring a word of caution for especially you pet owners hitting the trail this season.
I saw a rattlesnake this morning on my way to work. So apparently they're waking up. The temperature is getting warmer out, so we're starting to look for them. The thing to remember about snakes is that they're as afraid of us as we are of them, and they're not going to just seek us out. If my pet were to be bit by a rattlesnake, I would immediately get it to a veterinarian. It's an emergency situation. I wouldn't wait at all. I unfortunately have known people that have had their dogs bit by vets. They go on horseback ride, they go on trail walking together, and they get bit. And if they're not taken right away, it can cause death. But I have actually had a dog that was bit by a rattlesnake before, and what really saved him was rattlesnake prevention, the vaccination. And that's a 2-series, so you just go to the veterinarian. It's inexpensive, maybe $35. A few weeks later, you get a booster shot, and it's good for a year. And I know that that saved my dog's life.
And again, Davey says if you're interested in learning more about the rattlesnake vaccine for your pet, just contact your local veterinarian, or you can contact the Humane Society for more information on that. And rattlesnakes, of course, very prevalent in this area. I remember one time I was golfing out at Desert Canyon, and I hit my ball into one of the little waste areas there. Went to go pick it up, and certainly it was right next to a coiled rattlesnake. But it was early in the morning, rather cool, so they're dormant in the cooler weather because they're cold-blooded reptiles. But yeah, you got to be on the lookout for them because they're out there, but they do serve a beneficial purpose too.
Yes, they do.
Keep that rodent population down. So yeah.
Well, you were doing the news and decided to check the Aniat River near Ardenvore. On the latest page there, since we're worried about rising rivers and streams, it looks pretty good. Yeah. Looks like they're not going to have any problems there. It's cresting right now. They measured it last time, update. This was last night at 9 o'clock is when they measured it last. 6.6 feet. Again, this is the Aniat River at Ardenvore, I should say. It is expected to begin falling. They say if it rises any more than that, it's really not a flood stage. Flood stage is 7.5 feet. They are pretty confident that the Aniat River near Ardenvore will not flood.
And again, folks, that means also the whitewater season's starting to ramp up here pretty soon, and so we'll be checking in with some of the companies that provide that attraction here locally to find out what we are looking for in terms of a whitewater rafting season on the Wenatchee River.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be fantastic.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Speaking of fantastic, we have a newscast. Does fantastic in news work? Yeah, it does. That works.
Actually, tremendous, incredible, you know, all Trumpian terms.
Oh, yeah, there you go. And it's available in high-definition television, or as we'd like to say in the business, TV. Grant Olson does the honors at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. That's your 3 chances to watch it on the station. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and we play it once again at 10 o'clock. Grant Olson in the anchor chair. Eric Granstrom handles sports. We have a little feature that we put together, and it's a pretty good little newscast. You can also watch it on demand by going to our website at ncwlife.com. You can watch it at your convenience. We even archive our news. So if there was a story like last week and you missed and you want to see it again, you can easily do that as well. We also post some long-form interviews. So Steve mentioned the Ann Diamond interview. Ann was in there for about 15 minutes chatting with Steve here in Studio 7. That entire interview from start to finish is available on our website. So there's always some stuff unique to our website that may not necessarily make it on our airwaves. Fair enough. Steve, let people know how they can get hold of us.
Hey, pretty simple, folks. Any number of ways you can contact us if you have some news you'd like to share, or there's an event or program you want us to cover. You give us a call, first of all, on our hotline if you see breaking news at 888-NCWL. Also, you can write to us at our email address, news@ncwlife.com. Facebook, Twitter, always a good mode of communication to contact us, and you can comment on some of the stories that we post there. And then, as always, just click that little tab at the top of our webpage at ncwlife.com. It says Contact Us. Pretty simple.
There's also one that says submit a news tip, too. You can do that as well.
There's also that.
Yep.
And we've been getting quite a few tips recently. So thank you for that, folks, and make use of ncwlife.com because it's, hey, really your website.
57 degrees, a few clouds. We're going to top off at 67, which is cooler than it was yesterday. A passing shower, some clouds, some wind. Again, we got a trough. This is kind of working its way back, working its way through the valley. It'll be sliding out. That was terrible. It'll be sliding out of here on Friday, and a beautiful weekend is in store. I can't wait for the weekend because I get one first time in a while. 20 minutes after the hour. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, sports. We have the obscure holiday. We have
Pet of the Week today,
we have
too.
Pet of the Week as well.
Right.
It's a busy Thursday. Still lots to get to between now and 8 o'clock. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 55 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
There you go.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to come down and check out what we're all about at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Great beer, good food, and an endless source of entertainment for the whole family. Our Honey Blonde beer is flying off the shelves at your local grocery store. But I tell you what, it's even better on tap. And while you're here, try our signature Badger sauce with one of our delicious meals. Whether you're in the mood for a wrap, salad, pizza, or nachos, Badger Mountain Brewing has what you're looking for.
Boating is a great way to bring family and friends together. At Bob File Boats and Motors, they have the boats for any lifestyle. Fishing, wakeboarding, or just relaxing on the water. Buying a new boat is more affordable than you might think at Bob File Boats and Motors. Online at bobfile.com or on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
And we are back at 22 minutes after the hour on this 10th day of May. Yeah, it's the 10th day of May, and we're still talking about Wenatchee Wild Hockey. They hop on the bus early tomorrow morning and head on up to Chilliwack. The RBC Cup gets underway on Saturday. They will start, as a matter of fact, against the host team, Chilliwack. Now, these two teams met twice this season. The home team won both contests. Back on October 6th, the Wild began a 3-game road trip with a game up in Chilliwack, and they lost a heartbreaker. The final there was 4-3. The game-winning goal by Chilliwack was scored with just 17 seconds left in regulation. But the second meeting the day after Thanksgiving went much differently. It was at the Town Toyota Center. If you forgot what it was like the day after Thanksgiving, here are your highlights with our checker on the call.
Bouncing puck into the zone, shot. Score! And that's a basic case of willing the puck towards the net. It wasn't pretty, but it counts. Jackson Wozniak just kind of helping to guide the puck along with his body, and it bounced over to Jared Christie. And Christie rips it home low on the blocker's side. Tries to get around Chalatic now with a step, tries to go wide on Galambus. He's in, and they come running in and knock Park for a loop coming down the left side. And boy, Park's blocker went flying all the way over to the near side. Here's Stratton, gains the line, feathers it across for Arnold, spins around, he scores! Sharply across, right side, held in, driven low and wide, back in front, shot, score! Sammy Morton drove it home. And Nathan Iannone set him up with the pass. Fires it across. There's a shot, save, rebound, score. Turcotte with a backhander. It was a big high-rising shot from Gresh at the left side. And the rebound fell out front. It was a good shoulder stop made by Park. But Turcotte was right there to sweep in the loose rebound. Sent back to the near side. Shot and a score. As the Chiefs have closed the gap to 1, Powell Connor from the right side drilled it over to the left wall, and Marcus Tesink, playing in his first game for the Chiefs, sent the shot through traffic. He gets behind Austin Park. Power play goal for the Chiefs, and it's a 1-goal hockey game. Banked out and pushed out through center, and there's Sauter with an empty net at the horn. And the Wild, with a buzzer beater, win it 4-2.
Chilliwack finished the regular season with a 500 mark. They were bounced out of the playoffs in a 7-game series with Prince George, and they haven't played since March 11th. It's been a couple of months since they played hockey. Wenatchee players Austin Park and A.J. Vanderbeck and Wild coach Bliss Littler all know that the Chiefs, though, will be ready to play.
They've had some time off. They were out early in the playoffs, but I know they've been working hard, and they should be a good team to play against, and hopefully the crowd will be there for the host team as well, and it should be a great experience.
So obviously, we haven't played them much this year. We haven't played them since before Christmas and whatnot, but I think, from the guys last year, we try to expect what their style of play last year, and we expect it's their home crowd. They haven't played in a while. They're going to be ready to go, and they're going to give us their best game, and we got to come ready to play.
Yeah, they'll be rested. They'll be rested, so. We'll take a few days here and we'll get ourselves ready. We'll be prepared when we play them. We're going to keep the same approach, try to win every game. That's how we've played it. That all years is win the next game.
So the RBC Cup is a round-robin tournament between the 5 teams that are there. The Wild get going Saturday at 7 o'clock at the Prospera Center, and the rest of the Wenatchee schedule you see on your screen. Our checker will be, of course, in this studio here in just a few minutes to preview the series, and we'll also talk about the nice victory over Spruce Grove. Lots to talk about with Arch when he comes on in just a little bit. Speaking of the Wild, of course, it's Thursday. That means hockey night here on the NCAA Live channel. We're going to have Game 4 of the Doyle Cup with Wenatchee at Spruce Grove. It starts tonight at 7 o'clock. And by the way, Wenatchee's Doyle Cup winning game, Game 5 against Spruce Grove, will be on this very TV station tomorrow at 7. Here's your prep schedule for the day. The Caribou Trail League Tennis Championships gets underway at Harmony Mead Tennis Courts up in Chelan. They'll get going at 2 o'clock. Eastmont and Wenatchee boys and girls track squads are in Yakima, the gateway to Wapato. They're at Zeffel Stadium. Eisenhower is hosting that track meet. That starts at 4 o'clock. The Caribou Trail League District Baseball Tournament gets going today. Cascade travels to Okanagan. They'll get going at 4:30. Brewster and Bridgeport will play for the CTL CWB District Championship tonight. Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl at 6 o'clock. One night after James Paxton's no-hitter, the Mariners blew one in Toronto. Last night they lost to the Blue Jays. The final was 5-2. Heading into the bottom of the 8th, it led 2-1. Juan DeCasio entered the game on the mound as the third reliever trying to hold the lead. He could not. He only got one batter out. And by the time he exited, Toronto had plated 4 runs on 5 hits. Gene Segura had a good night at the plate. He went 3 for 5 with an RBI double. Seattle will try and bounce back today with another 4:05 game. Mike Leake will get the start for the Mariners. And that is sports at 28 minutes after the hour. It's time for the obscure holiday of the day today. A day parents eagerly await and kids dread. Today is National Clean Up Your Room Day. National Clean Up Your Room Day. Kids have no problems living in a messy room. Parents don't like it. Clean Up Your Room Day is always held on May 10th. So get the shovels out, call in the industrial-sized dumpster, whatever the case may be. It's time for everybody to clean up your rooms. And like most kids, I was not very good at cleaning up our room. And by the way, maybe it should apply to parents too. Hey kids, if you go in and you just clean up your room so everything's organized and spotless and everything's perfect, and you get the inspection from mom and dad and they give you the big thumbs up for cleaning your room, you might want to, drop a note. Maybe they should clean their room. Just throwing it out there. It doesn't necessarily mean kids need to clean up their rooms. It does. Who's kidding who? 29 minutes after the hour. Today in history, it's one thing to have a government job. It's another thing to have a government job for 48 years. And on this date in 1924, J. Edgar Hoover got the gig. He was appointed the first director of the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the very first director, and he had the job for the next 48 years until he died in 1972. To his credit, he turned the FBI into an afterthought, into the top federal law enforcement agency in this country. Not surprisingly, he did a lot of good and then he did a lot of bad. I mean, when you keep private files on major power players in Washington, D.C., the guy was not below extortion and not above extortion and blackmail. He was known to do that. Almost every president from FDR on wanted to fire Hoover, but they were afraid to. That's the kind of power that he had. J. Edgar Hoover took over the FBI May 10th, 1924. 64 years ago today. It wasn't the first rock and roll record, wasn't even the first rock and roll hit, but if there is the Lexington and Concord moment in the history of rock and roll, it was the fact that 64 years ago today, Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley and the Comets was released. Took a long time to become a hit. It took over a year to become a hit, but eventually it became the #1 hit in the United States in 1955. A year later, it was #1 all over the world. More than any other single rock and roll song or rock and roll record, it brought rock and roll into the mainstream culture. The old folks reached for the smelling salts, and the kids dug it. And why not? It's a good record. It still is. It still sounds as fresh and exciting today as it did 64 years ago today, where you could go to your record store and buy a brand new song called Rock Around the Clock. And finally, May 10th, 1975, 43 years ago today, Betamax made its debut. The Sony Corporation introduces the Betamax player and video cassette. We had a Betamax player growing up in the Coons household, because that was, remember the battle of the formats? You're going to give VHS or you're going to do Beta. We did our homework, and Beta was the way to go. The problem is Sony owned Beta, and nobody else wanted to do something that Sony had the patent to, and so all the other companies, JVC and Magnavox and Samsung, they all decided they were going to go to VHS, and before you know it, Sony was all out on their own with the format that never quite caught on. Betamax made its debut on this date in 1975. Finally, we got 2 birthdays to get to today. His name is Paul David Hewson. Paul David Hewson, you know him as that guy, Bono, the lead singer of U2, who's 58 years old today. He's a great singer. He's a great songwriter. He is a human machine. The guy, nothing cosmetic about Bono. His thoughts are out there. He is really taking the plight of what's going on in Africa to heart. He's given away millions and millions of dollars. Bono, 58 years old today. And here's a little trivia question for you. Who is the longest tenured cast member in Saturday Night Live history? This guy, Kenan Thompson. I kid you not. He's been a cast member of Saturday Night Live since 2003. He's been on more shows than anybody. And he's only 40. He also holds the record for the most celebrity impressions performed on Saturday Night Live, 126, the old record 107 by Darrell Hammond. Kenan Thompson is 40 years old today. I cannot believe he is the longest tenured cast member in the history of Saturday Night Live. That is impressive. It is 33 minutes after the hour. Everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion is on the way, and the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild, our checker, will be in our studio when we come back live. But first, Pet of the Week. Let's get Dante the cat home. It's Pet of the Week.
Hey guys, Megan here with the NCW Life Channel, and we are here with Renee Parkins, the Development Officer of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and we're also here with Dante. Can you tell us about Dante?
We don't know a lot about Dante. He was a stray. We do know he's about 2 years old, so he's still really young. He just is out of that crazy kitten stage, which is, I think, a really nice age. You know, he was a stray, so we don't know if he lived with other cats. We don't know if he's lived with dogs. You know, his temperament's pretty, as you've seen since you've been here. It's pretty good. He's just a really sweet guy, and he just likes to be petted, and he'll sit on your lap, and he's really friendly. So, yeah, I like him. He's got a little character. You can tell at some point he might have had a little bit of rough life and some stories to tell. So,
if someone wants to adopt Dante, what should they do?
They just come down to the shelter and meet him, especially if you have a family. I highly encourage you meet him with your family members in the Get Acquainted room. Make sure that he's going to be the right fit for your family. Then you can fill out the paperwork and take him home because he's ready to go.
Awesome. Do you have anything to say, Dante? It's kind of quiet. The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. This is Megan McPherson, and that's our Pet of the Week from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
Walkabout Grill, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in downtown Wenatchee and now downtown Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
For plumbing, heating, or cooling repair, Patriot will be right there.
Don't wait till your equipment breaks. This Lennox dealer can help.
Keep your home comfort system running smoothly with regular checkups from Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call Patriot today.
Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling will give your home a hug.
Get up to $1,700 in rebates or special financing.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, I'm Blair with Works, your workout prescription. You know, the very best time to start an exercise habit, well, frankly, it was a long time ago, but the second best time is right now. And with the March basketball season on us, we're going to try to entice you with a Sweet 16 offer. $16 to join. It includes a 3D body scan so that you can monitor progress, and it includes your exercise prescription. The way that you start an exercise habit is by starting. Works, yourworkoutrx.com.
Join us for Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel. This former police sergeant is plugged into not only the world of the streets, he's an actor and connoisseur of the arts. So join Mike and his guest for, well, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mondays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., and Wednesdays at 5:30. It's Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel.
How about having majestic mountains, a beautiful shoreline, and 26 acres of lush walking trails be the backdrop of your special event? Lake Wenatchee YMCA Camp has cabins, meeting spaces, and a lodge with a kitchen that will accommodate large gatherings. Our staff at Lake Wenatchee YMCA Camp will work with you to ensure that your wedding, retreat, class reunion, or birthday is amazing. Reserve your day today.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now look, in the realm of sexual assaults, there is no such thing as date rape. Now rape is rape. The majority of sexual assaults occur within an already established relationship, the minority, vast minority, between strangers. To define an assault as occurring on a date in no way lessens the potential trauma to the victim or lessens the culpability of the offender, and should not cause consideration for a reduction of penalty. Now, date rape, oh gosh, who made up this stupid term anyway? Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
It's the third annual Manson Rat Rod Show, Saturday, May 19th, downtown Manson, with over $850 in cash prizes. Live music from Eclectic Electric. Admission to the public is free. Enter your ratty online at moretomanson.com or join us Friday, May 18th at 3 p.m. for the pre-registration party at Wine Girl Wines and live broadcast from the Quake, presented by Schwab Tires, Wine Girl Wines, Sunset Bar and Grill, Monster Energy Drink, and the Manson Chamber of Commerce.
At Doghouse Motorsports, we ride what we sell. There's a lot we could say about the CD Spark and the CD GTI, but ultimately, the ride says it all.
I have a doctor who knows what they're talking about.
It's just so much more hands-on and friendly than anywhere else I've ever been.
It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted.
We've just been grateful for the care and respect that we've been given there.
And here when I come to visit my doctor, I'm not afraid to ask questions.
It's not just about getting you in and out.
I love my care at CVCH. It's awesome.
give it a try.
Hi everyone, Brent. Hey, don't mind, we're just making a commercial here, Randall. You're okay. Hi everyone, Brent here. You're gonna love this. When you see this, come down and see us behind Nissan. I can do it. I can do it. The all-new 2018 Nissan. That's done, I'm done. We can't do it. Come down and see us at Town Nissan behind Costco in East Wenatchee. Better performance, better.
And we are back on this Thursday, May 10th. I'm in a fantastic mood because it's Thursday, May 10th, and we're still talking about Wenatchee Wild hockey. They've gone as deep as any team at their level can go. It's the Final Five. The RBC Cup gets underway on Saturday, and the gentleman to my immediate left is no stranger to this program. It is Arch Ecker, the broadcasting voice of the Wild. Hey, all right, woo! We got a lot to talk about, but let's take a little trip down memory lane.
You know, I almost didn't make it this morning.
Why?
Well, it's National Clean Up Your Room Day.
Yes, it is.
And I always have that circle. That's a red letter day.
That's a big day for you, isn't it?
It really is a big day. And I didn't know which room to start with, so I got up extra early.
Okay, okay.
And you know, I accomplished nothing. But anyway, where were
you? Beautiful, is Spruce Grove beautiful? We don't know. I've never been there.
You know, it's a fairly modern town. You know, and as I explained before on previous shows, one of my previous 38 appearances, you know, when we go on the road, typically it's not a sightseeing venture. I mean, it's a work trip. We go there, I see the road to the hotel, between the hotel and the rink back, and that's about it. I did actually on this last trip have an opportunity to forage out a little bit beyond. But yeah, it's a nice, fairly modern town. It's very clean, and a pleasant place to be. You know,
Bedroom community of Edmonton, correct?
Yeah, it's just probably about 15 to 20 minutes to the west of Edmonton, and you know, it's a kind of place that you know, I mean, we spent a week up there, and I had no problem spending a week there again. It's great. It's a very nice little community.
Did the kids get, because of the if you don't remember, the Doyle Cup had the schedule, and because of the large distances between the two cities, Wenatchee hosted the first two games at home, and then they all went and spent the rest of the week, as you mentioned, in Spruce Grove. Did the guys get a little stir crazy? I mean, are you stuck in your hotel room, channel flipping? Did the guys get to a movie? How do you kill time when you're there for a week?
Well, the thing is, so we played Friday, Saturday here. We got up Sunday morning, and we left, and we went up to Fernie, British Columbia. Got a hotel up there. So we were on the bus for, you know, 8+ hours. We got up there, had dinner, went to bed, right? You get up the next day, and then we chew off the rest of the trip on up to Spruce Grove, which is another 6.5 hours or so from there. And, you know, you roll in, you check into your hotel, you get acclimated, and you know, you have a couple of hours to kind of lay out and decompress, and then you go to dinner as a team, and the next thing you know, you wake up and it's game day. So now it's Tuesday, and you're going through your game day routine of having your morning meal and your stretch and all those things that we normally go through on any game day at any time of year. And, you know, so then Tuesday, Wednesday were game days, and we had hoped, you know, if we had won Tuesday and Wednesday, we would have been driving home on Thursday. As it turned out, we won Tuesday, and then we lost the Wednesday game. So Thursday became an off day in between. But, you know, and again, it's the same thing. You get up, you eat as a team, you go through the process of trying to regenerate the body with stretching and the rehabilitation things that Drew has set for the team. And every opportunity to try to keep the body prepared to compete. And, you know, as far as stir crazy, they don't really have time for it, because once they get through that, and then it's like, okay, we're going to meet in 45 minutes, and we're going to go get some lunch. Okay, so then you go do that, and that chews up an hour or whatever, and then it gets to the afternoon, and we're going to say, okay, we're going to go to a movie tonight. So they did go to a movie on one night, but then you get dinner, and you get up the next day, and it's game day again. So that's Friday was game day, and then that was the game that we won and clinched the Doyle Cup. Woke up Saturday morning, bus back to Fernie, got a room, and then got up Sunday and came home. So all of a sudden you're gone 8 days, but it's not like you're sitting there with your thumb in your ear the whole time, and there's stuff to do, and the guys don't have a chance to get too stir crazy. That's for sure.
Canadians are well known for their hospitality. I'm assuming you were treated quite well up there in Spruce Grove by the locals, even though we're Gretzky nappers.
Hey, they traded him to us.
That's true.
We didn't
That's
nab
true.
him at all.
So.
That was old Peter Pocklington says, there, you're going to L.A., baby. Check, check. Yeah, you know what? I think by and large, I think the folks up there were very pleasant, and they typically are. I mean, but we find that. I mean, well, you know, and the game of hockey tends to breed that. I mean, you know, when it's game night, I mean, sometimes you'll get certain fan bases that'll kind of holler at you, but that's within the confines of the game.
Sure.
Here's an example. Prince George in the BCHL finals, in the Fred Page Cup final series. You know, Prince George, there's no love lost between our two franchises. There's no doubt about that. And on the ice, it's bitter. But after the game, you know, we had a bus problem where the generator went out, something happened, but the headlights weren't working, so we couldn't drive the bus at night. So how do we get the team from the rink back to the hotel? Yeah. Well, Prince George fans and even their president all chipped in, and they all got trucks, and they shuttled us back around.
Oh,
you know,
cool.
after the game, it was, hey, you know what? It's like, you know, during the game, you know, we hate you, but you know what? At the end of the day, we're all in the same business together. We're all about growing players and developing and doing the right thing and trying to be shining examples. And so to that end, you know, the game takes care of its own.
5-1. I mean, it's 4 games to 1 in a 5-game series to win the Dell Cup. Was that a surprise to you, or were we that much better than Spruce Grove, or are we just playing that much better?
You know, Spruce Grove was really they're just a different animal. They're a bigger team. They tried to out heavy us, tried to out hit and whatnot. But you know, and part of our strength is our speed, and I think they chased us around for 5 games, and I think they just ran out of juice. And I think they made the mistake of thinking that because we're a team that leans on our skill, I think that they apprised us as a team that was what you might call soft. Mm-hmm. And they, as much as, well, their local newspaper had as much as said so. And I think that was to their demise, was to underestimate that our ability to withstand that barrage and to dole it out ourselves. By the time we got to Game 5, you know, they were throwing hits, we were answering back. We had more hits than they did. And all of a sudden, they're like, whoa, wait a minute, what happened? You guys are supposed to be muffins. No, it's not like that.
It's not like that.
Yeah, it's just, you know, the Alberta League, I assume, you know, based on its reputation and whatnot, and I haven't seen a whole lot of their games, but that's kind of the way they're constructed. They play heavy physical games, and you know, and our league tends to be built more towards skill. Mm-hmm. So,
and speed.
And speed. And it's worked out really well for us being in the interior division. I think playing against teams the caliber of Penticton Trail, Vernon all year long, you know, and for that matter, even Salmon Arm, Merritt, you know, and West Kelowna down on the bottom half of the standings. I mean, those guys bring it every night. So that really helped. It's just like you know, sharpening the knife on the lathe there or whatever. You get her going, and it's prepared our team for this kind of run to be successful deep into the playoffs.
The video you're about ready to see, you have seen before. Thousands and thousands, literally thousands and thousands of people have seen this video. I'm not exaggerating. This was the welcome that the Wild got on Sunday when they rolled back into town. And we're going to show this video in its entirety, including some of the interviews that Eric did. And then we're going to get Arch's reaction. But I can't get tired of this, so let's check it out again.
gentlemen, Wild Nation, we are pleased to present to you the Doyle Cup champions!
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, it's truly a hero's welcome. You couldn't ask for anything more. These fans all season have been incredible, and it's truly just been a gift to be a part of this. Honestly, I'm just so thankful for everything that you guys have done. You have made this the most incredible year of hockey I could have ever imagined, and I hope I get to do it again next year and relive it all, because you guys make this team and you make this sport incredible. Thank you so much.
You know what, we kind of expected a little bit after we came back from Prince George. Didn't even win the series yet, and we had hundreds of fans out there waiting to welcome us home, get us ready for Game 5. It was incredible, and we were pulling into town, we saw the police escort, and right away we knew that we were going to have a bunch of incredible fans waiting for us to welcome us home.
I'll tell you what, this is something that these kids will remember forever. That the escort into town, and you pull into the parking lot, and more fans here than a lot of places that we play. That it's awful special coaching here and awful special playing here.
That was cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
Talk about that when you guys pulled in the parking lot and the cowbells and the fans and the jerseys and lions and tigers and bears, oh my.
Well, yeah, it really started when we were coming down. We got up right to the other side of the bridge there, and saw the cop car pull out in front of us and hit the lights, and and they led us all the way in across the bridge and through town, and and here you got this bunch of guys that just got done going through a grueling playoff series and 2 days on the road, and all of a sudden they saw that, and it just, man, they popped up, boing, and they're all leaning over like, whoa, check that out. Oh man, that's awesome. They were just like high-fiving each other and just going, wow, that is so cool. So, every, when you go through the planning of trying to execute something like that, and you hope that the players will get something from it, oh yeah, mission accomplished in that regard. The guys were walking on a cloud as a result, and and part of it, I mean, following the lights into town was great, but all the cars along the way that were hitting the horn and honking, and it's like, because people knew and they recognized and they understood, hey, that's our hockey team. They just won another championship, and here they are. They must be coming back. That is, hey, a little toot toot. And people were waving. I mean, not just the folks that were, at the TTC.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking about people that, like, all up and down the roads as we were driving in. So yeah, it was it was a moment that just it filled your heart. It was emotional. It was satisfying and invigorating and exciting and all these things just all at once, and and you're just trying to soak it up and enjoy the moment, because God, it's rare.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for example, Bliss is the winningest coach in U.S. hockey history, and he hasn't won it in a dozen years or better. He won it in USHL was the last time he won it. He won a couple times, well, 4 times actually in Billings early in his career. But it's a fleeting thing, and to enjoy what we have happening right now, it's great to embrace it.
Well, 2 cups down, 1 to go in the 4 minutes we have left. Talk about, first of all, we know all about Chilliwack. Chilliwack is the host team, so they haven't played in 2 months, but they'll be ready to go, as we mentioned in sports. We're very familiar with the Chiefs. And 3 teams we probably don't know anything about. Talk about the cup, talk about the process, the tournament, the whole 9 yards as we see that on our screen. Talk about it. What you know about the teams and the format.
The biggest mistake you can make right now would be to overlook Chilliwack. Just because they've been off for 2 months doesn't mean anything. Now, they've had some upheaval there. They recently dismissed their head coach. and they promoted an assistant coach into the head coach position. But, you know, is that good or bad? Hey, you know, I don't know what goes on in their locker room. That's their issue. I also know that the Trail Smoke Eaters, who we had beaten in the third round of the playoffs, their head coach was dismissed at the end of the season after we eliminated them, and he has moved over and joined the Chilliwack staff. So they're kind of building this little thing over there. So, yeah, taking Chilliwack lightly would be a mistake, and I guarantee you there's no way our staff is looking past them. Fans might be, because they might think, oh, that's Chilliwack, and they were a 500 team. Okay, they're only there because they're the host. Move on. Who's next? No, you don't want to. And you know what? That's our first game. It's that's happening Saturday night at 7. So that's and our guys will be ready. There's no doubt about that. Moving on down the list, the Steinbach Pistons. So they've come out of the Manitoba Junior Hockey League. They ended up advancing in 6 games as they defeated Nipawin. And they've got a highly touted goaltender, which is all well and good, but you know, we've played against some pretty good goaltenders in the past, and we've got a pretty good offense, you may have noticed.
Yeah.
Top offense in the BCHL. So, you know, that's strength against strength, and we'll welcome that anytime. So we're looking forward to that matchup. So the Ottawa Junior Senators, again, we're talking about a team that's coming out of the Far East there, and not the Far East, back east.
Back east would be better.
So,
yeah.
So we don't really get a chance to see much about their style of play and whatnot. But I guarantee the coaches are on top of it, and Ottawa's they're going to be pretty good. I think they're going to be one of the strong teams. They're all strong, though. I mean, they all got there because they won a championship. So
or
Ottawa
multiple
got there. I think what was it? There's the Dudley Hewitt Cup, and then there's another Fred Page Cup, which seems confusing. But see, that Fred Page, he was a pretty influential guy, right?
There's a Dudley Do-Right Cup.
Dudley Hewitt.
Oh, I was gonna say, I didn't know that. Okay.
That's you being funny, isn't it? That's
funny.
You with your Canadian humor. I got 4 Canadian jokes, and here's one of them.
These guys have played a lot of hockey, probably more hockey between late August to now mid-May than at any time, certainly any time in Wild history, and probably in these guys' young career. Are we healthy? How are we doing? Knock on very expensive wood.
Yeah,
we're doing good.
I think by and large, I think for the most part we're as healthy as can be expected at this time of year.
Specifically, Lucas Sauter? I know he was a little banged up.
He's been a little banged up. I don't know 100%, but there is a possibility we may see him.
Okay.
From what I understand, I think it's kind of a day-to-day thing, but I've got my fingers crossed, and I don't know. I haven't been able to go to practice the last couple of days because there's a lot of stuff to be done in preparation this week, but.
So how do fans watch? I mean, this is it now. This is the this is
it. I know people are like, wait a minute, I thought you guys already won. Why are you still playing? It's unique and different from how USA Hockey runs things. USA Hockey has their league championships, and when we were in the North American League, you would play to try to win the Robertson Cup, and once you won the Robertson Cup, that was it. 15 years ago or 20 years ago, USA Hockey used to have something called the Gold Cup, which was a championship between, like the North American Hockey League would play for the Robertson Cup, and then the USHL would play for the Clark Cup, and the America West League would play for the Bourne Cup. And so you had these 3 junior leagues, they would all win, and then they would come together for a Gold Cup, which is similar to the Royal Bank Cup. It was just the American version of it. And but that's been done away with because they changed out, and now USHL's Tier 1 and Tier 2 and all of that malarkey. But at any rate, I know we're running low on time.
So how do people follow the Wild when they're up there?
Well, I'll be calling all the games live on Sunny FM 93.9, and Hockey TV will have coverage with some other broadcasters, but it is what it is.
Go Wild.
Go Wild, baby. RBC, we're going.
I can't wait to see you again with maybe another cup and a longer beard, too. Beard looks good on you.
Yeah, it's on point.
Our friends from the Junior Service League in Touch a Truck will be here on Friday. Everybody have a great Thursday. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.